Are Skaven spells of ruin any good in patch 6.2.1? And yes, sometimes they randomly change magic around, so I feel the need to state the patch at recording time to keep things straight. Let's go into what makes the Lore of Ruin tick and talk. Passive is Musk of Fear, triggering after casting of course, and applying for 8 seconds map wide against enemies, inflicting -4 leadership and -12 melee attack. Given that you work with a lot of squishy mass troops, this can really help drag the fight out in your favor. Howling Warp Gale is a spell I often forget exists, coming on your Warlock Master's default but needing actual pips to get access to with engineers. 100 meter range, 55 meter effect range, 14 seconds duration, 28 if overcast, and 30 seconds cooldown. The spell is 5 winds of magic normally and 9 overcast. As for the effect, flying units, and flying units only, are pinned in place for the duration. Obviously, it's of no use against the flying units if they're on the ground, so the real use of this is to pin something in the air for your weapons teams to obliterate. Murder, death, kill. If you don't have that use, it's worthless. If you do, it's worth all the food in the Empire. Warp Lightning is a highly spammable starting spell, the one every Ruin caster can use at least a little of. Direct damage is 224, 100% armor piercing, explosive damage is 24 points of damage, also 100% armor piercing, considered magical damage with a medium-sized strike area. The point is, it will completely disrespect any kind of armored troops and whittle them down while triggering Musk of Fear, if that's unlocked. Base version costs 6 wins, overcast version 11 wins for more than 1 lightning bolt. Handle with care. Range is 200 meters, it takes 5 seconds to actually come down once cast, and cooldown is 30 seconds after. Death Frenzy is an interesting one that seems out of place in a sense, but it's a different kind of ruin. Supercharging melee combatants, limited to 1 friendly unit at 6 wins, but affecting a 35 meter area if overcast for 12, 200 meter range, 28 seconds duration, 43 seconds cooldown. This provides the following buffs: weapon strength plus 30%, melee attack plus 24, immunity to psychology. In other words, this will turn even Skaven slaves into vicious combatants, but you probably want more effective units involved. This involves game knowledge to know what has what kinds of weapon strength, so you can see where it can be the most use. Scorch rounds out the basic spells, 7 wins normal cast, 11 wins overcast. Note that the Forbidden Workshop has specific boosts that help this spell's cost substantially, but that's Clan Scryer only. It creates a long, thin, tear-shaped area that inflicts 36 damage, that's 0 armor piercing, magical, and fire damage. 3 seconds base, 6 seconds overcast. I take it that's for the length of the effect, and it does keep things set on fire for that duration. Also, range goes from 150 meters to 450 if overcast. The other duration of 12 seconds, I'm guessing it's the fire patch itself, and it's not with a dot, then I presume that it just means enemies are lit on fire from exposure. Cooldown is 44 seconds regardless. So this is your Punish Zombie Blobs wind spell in essence. Flensing Ruin is one I had a hard time grasping. 14 wins base, 20 overcast. It does direct damage of 25 to 50 to enemy units per second in a 35 meter area, and saps armor by 30 as well. Range is 100 meters, but duration is 24 seconds normal, 38 overcast. Cooldown is 52 seconds. So that's 600 to 1200 direct damage per normal cast. This is meant to be used on characters and single entities, but the fact that it can affect multiple units helps. Let me know what you think of this. I know it's a big deal in multiplayer, and I'm sure that you'd get a lot more use against crypt horrors than Skaven slaves. Crack's Call is a winds type spell that has a rectangular angle of attack, 15 winds normal, 20 overcast. Now what it's actually inflicting is 35 points of 100% armor piercing normally, 70 points of 50% armor piercing when overcast. Therefore it's as if an extra 35 points of 0 armor piercing was tacked on for the extra cost, at least if this info is correct. Obviously this is going to land a lot differently if you're hitting Empire Spearmen or Chaos Dwarf Warriors. Range 150 meters, once cooldown begins it is 52 seconds. It's pretty miserable against low entity units or single characters, but that's what Flensing Ruin is for. Grey Seers of Ruin can use the dreaded 13th spell, which creates an explosion doing 81 points of damage, 33% armor piercing, and from this explosion, a unit of Storm Vermin emerges, is 20 wins, and using the Overcast version doesn't change the wins, it just means you summon Sword and Shield Storm Vermin instead of Halberds. So Halberds are the default. Make sure you summon the correct one for your situation. There's 2 uses, 150 meter range, it's certainly a step up from summoning clan rats in a sense. Not even Ikit Claw gets this spell, is for Grey Seers of Ruin only, but they do displace a spell for them. So what do you think of the spells of Ruin? Do they ruin the enemy's good time enough for you? Even though the casters tend to have other tricks, even just the ability to spam Warp Lightning can really help tenderize the tougher parts of an enemy force. Take care and have fun bringing home the bacon, with lots of cheese involved.